to the bad guy. Yeah, Chico. Yeah, Chico. You're talking to the bad guy. Toothpick in your eye. I'm that guy. Hey, yo. Look, something happened to these, something happened to you, okay?
How you doing, everybody? Your host, Shabazz McClellan with SMACM Sports, SMACM World. I got a special guest here, man. This guy here is a turnkey legend, a Gulfport native. Played at Harrison Central. He's a legend there, and also a legend from the Starkville, Mississippi State University. And I got Mr. Timmy Bowers, man. How you doing, man?
Doing well, man. Glad to be here.
Man, same here, man. So we're gonna just jump right in it, man. I'm so excited to have you, man. This guy is. Before we even start the interview, man, this guy is probably one of 7 Mississippi Player of the Year in the state of Mississippi, man, from the coast. So we got Mahmoud. He won in 88 and 87. Then you had Michael DeGrew in 95. And then you got Mr. Timmy Bowers in 2000. And then you have some other ones. Byron Sanders also won it. Devin Booker. And so a couple more people. Bender. And one more guy. Booker from Pascagoula. So, man, we got to give this man his roses now. This dude is a legend. This dude really impacted the game of basketball on the coast. And we really got to give this man his flowers while he's here. So, man, I really appreciate you coming here, man. We're gonna dive into the interview, man. So, tell us what it was like growing up in Turnkey, man.
I mean, Turnkey. I mean, pretty much everybody on the coast knows a little bit about Turnkey.
Right.
Some people call it Forest Heights, but the real people know. We call it Turnkey.
The key. Right.
Right. And it was rough. It was rough. There was a lot of things going on back then, especially early '90s. Mm-hmm. And a lot of great basketball players, a lot of great talent, a lot of great talent. And some people look at it as, Michael DeGrew came out or Tim came out, but it was so many people that paved the way for both of us.
Right.
That just didn't get the opportunity for whatever reason. Maybe it was something that happened with the family or, whatever reason it was. So,
right.
We got to pay homage to those guys that came before us too. So
definitely.
I've always tried to do that and just, represent it as best as I could.
Right. And you did it very humble. That's what I love about you, man. You just so humble, man. You just gotta, like, I'm gonna keep saying it over and over in the interview. You just gotta, it's just time to give you to just do, bro, because you gotta get in the Hall of Fame at Mississippi State. And whenever the Gulfport all Hall of Fame,
yeah.
they're gonna definitely induct you. You gotta get it. So, man, I want to ask you this, man. Who was kind of the player? You was a basketball player. Who was influencing you growing up? Who was real big influence?
I mean, I'll start with the guys that were from my own neighborhood.
Okay,
because most of us, around here, we're influenced by somebody from Sirius City. I mean, obviously it's gonna be Mahmoud and those guys,
right.
Shaheed,
right.
Those guys
right.
that came up before you. But
right.
In Turnkey, like I alluded to earlier, there was so much talent. Michael DeGrew, obviously,
right.
Jeremy Lane,
God
rest his soul. Girls, April Brown. Who else? Eugene Dito. A lot of people don't know that name,
Hoopers.
but Hoopers know that name.
Yeah.
Walt Love, Walter Britton. The list goes on and
Walt
on. The list goes on and on and on. All these guys are from the Turnkey, from the same area. So, I grew up watching these guys.
Oh, yeah.
And, I was a little bit younger, probably 5-6 years younger, but,
right.
We had the Boys and Girls Club that we played at, the court, that we
right.
played at. And, I remember just going over and just kind of watching those guys play 5-on-5, 3-on-3, and just kind of, in awe.
Right.
Waiting to get my opportunity. And it never came because I never really got a chance to play with them or against them, but, I paid attention. So.
Oh, yeah, like, even if I know you said they were 5 years older, like, if you had the opportunity to play a pickup game with them, I'm pretty sure you jumped in those games at the Boys and Girls Club.
The thing about it is, and you know how it goes.
Yeah.
You get to the court early, and it might be a couple of them playing.
Uh-huh.
And look, I got next.
Yeah.
But then when the whole crew get there,
oh yeah, you ain't playing
Timmy,
too.
Timmy, get out of here.
Yeah,
You ain't playing.
you
You ain't ready yet. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
It was a lot of those stories, a lot of the times. But I remember one time, and he probably doesn't remember it. We was at the Boys and Girls Club, and Michael DeGrew was there, and we got a chance to play one-on-one. I think I was in the 7th grade. I think it was his senior.
That's a big deal.
I think it was his senior year, and I never forget it. I mean, he beat me probably 10-1,
Yeah.
but I scored 1.
That's what
I
that's
scored
confidence.
1. And so my confidence was high. In the 7th grade, I could play a little
Yeah.
bit, but this was the group. Like, he had the coach.
Oh, the Groove was the man.
Yeah, I mean, he had this, coach buzzing,
Right.
at the time he was in high school. So for me, That was a big deal.
Oh man, most definitely. So my best friend was like with Joe Barker. You know, he was always the bar for me. We was always competing in sports. Who was that for you at Turnkey? Who was that guy?
I mean, as far as competition wise, I mean,
you just always with him. You were just always.
I would
with
have
him.
to say Dewey Turner.
Yeah.
But you know, it was a brotherly competition.
Oh yeah,
you know
same here.
Because
we
grew up like this, and
right.
we came up together. But you know, we had a lot of other guys. I mean, Chris Lane, Jamie Fredericks. I mean, list goes on. Mario knows. You know, it's a lot of guys. You know, competitively that we were trying to beat, because you know, in Turnkey's a circle, but you had sides. You know, you had you know, Dewey and I on this side. You know,
right.
Carlos Anderson and everybody on this
right.
side. Chris Lane, Jamie Fredericks. So everybody was on different sides. So we kind of compete. It was a friendly competition.
Right,
but
most definitely.
you know, it made us better.
It's most definitely. So man, like you playing basketball. What elementary did you go to?
I went to Harrison Central Elementary, Orange Grove, and I think I went to Bel Air for 1 year.
So Pee Wee basketball. Can you go back there for how was that for you?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I didn't really play Pee Wee basketball.
Wow.
I don't know why. I never played in city leagues or anything like that. We used to have at the Boys and Girls Club with Mr. Carson, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
The church league.
Oh,
they would put us into the church league, and that's how we would go and compete against those. But even then, I was too young to play. You know, I remember going to Biloxi with him, just traveling with him, because I had an older brother. He's 3 years older than me, so he played. And I remember going to Biloxi. It was the Red Gym. They called it the Red Gym. I don't know if it's still there, but playing against those guys, and I remember crying my eyes out because they wouldn't put me in the game.
Oh man.
I had to be every bit of, I don't know, 10 or 11 years old. You know, so I was small, I was little, but I didn't understand why I couldn't play. So I never played Pee Wee.
That's mind blowing.
The first time I played organized basketball was when I got to junior high.
So
middle school or whatever.
So that's crazy right there. You to be good as you were, great as you were, you didn't even play Pee Wee basketball. So like you were just playing around in the hood, basically.
Yeah, I was at the court every day. I was at the Boys and Girls Club every day. We called it the center.
Yeah.
I was at the center every day. My mom got me a basketball goal at my house when I was probably in the 6th grade, and once she got it, I never put the ball down. So I would get in trouble just dribbling the ball in the house.
Yeah.
Put the ball down. Put the ball down. And folks that know my mom, you know, he's a little younger than me, but folks that know my mom know back then she didn't play.
Right.
She didn't play. So I'm in the house dribbling. I'll stop. Give it 5 minutes. I'm right back at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to put that rock down, man.
I just had it. When she got me that goal, you know, it gave me a chance to get away from whatever it was, you know, was going on. So I go outside, and as long as I was in the yard, you know, I could stay outside till 10, 11 o'clock at night and just, you know,
shooting jumpers.
Yeah. So.
Man, that's what's up, man. So like, okay, that was your elementary. You didn't play Pee Wee organized ball, which blows my mind, by the way. So I'm pretty sure you went to North Gulfport.
Yeah.
Okay. So how was that tryout, and how was that experience when you first playing that organized ball with a coach?
Okay, so going into my junior high, going into 7th grade, you know, I'm super excited. We all are. Myself, Dewey, everybody that's going into 7th grade, because we're getting a chance to, you know, it's going to be my first time trying out to play organized basketball, right? I met a friend's house, Jamie Fredericks. We should jump on the trampoline religiously. Like, I mean, every single day we jumping on the trampoline.
Right.
I'll be honest with you, I think that's where we got our athleticism from.
Probably so.
You know, because we didn't know that back then, you know, building those fast twitch muscles.
Right.
Okay. So I'm at the house jumping on the trampoline, me, I think Dewey, my older brother, Jamie Fraser, Chris Lane. And I jump off, and we were playing something. We were jumping over a stick, and we coming on the ground. I jump off, and I turn in the air, and I hit the ground. Now I'm at least 12 feet in the air, and I come down, and I try to break my fall, and I break it, hit myself, you know, knock the wind out, tell the guys, hold on, hit myself. I sat down, right? So I'm chilling. I notice that my arm starts aching, all right? So I'm like, I'm getting ready to go home. So I get ready to push myself up, because I'm sitting on a step. Push myself up, and I can feel the bone move in my arm. And so I'm like, oh my God, I'm young at the time. I'm 12. I think I'm 12. I run home, get to the house, get in, call my mom, tell her she's at work. Well, I wasn't even supposed to be outside.
And then you just your mama didn't play, so you tried your mom at this point. Okay.
I snuck out, right?
I got you.
So she makes me sit there until she gets out of work. So I probably sat there for 2 or 3 hours.
In pain.
Oh yeah, so much pain that I just kind of fell asleep.
Yeah.
But anyways, so going into this was probably a week before school started.
Okay.
So I ended up getting a cast, full arm cast, and I was in it for 6 weeks, and then I got that one off, and I was in the short one for probably another 3.
Gotcha.
And so it led all the way up until basketball tryouts. All right, I got the cast off 3 days before.
Okay.
So when I get to the doctor, I ask him, am I gonna be able to try for basketball? And he says, yeah, you'll be able to try. It shouldn't be a problem. Your arm just gonna probably be a little weak, when you get a cast off, it's skinny or whatever, so it's not gonna be as strong. So prior to that, when I had the cast on, my older brother would have me out just doing things with my left hand, dribbling, shooting left hand layups, shooting shots, just, messing around. When I get to the tryouts, the coach has us doing everything with our offhand. So if you was right-handed, you had to do it with left. You had left to do it with right.
Right.
And you could ask James. It appeared that I was left-handed. Layups,
crazy.
I'm making every layup. I'm going through the cones. You got the cones down. I'm doing everything ball handling wise. And so it was a plus for me. It ended up working out for me because it looked like I was
dominant lefty,
but I was a righty. So when you talk shooting free throws, okay, shooting jump shots, I can make those things. But most kids in 7th grade, 12 years old, they can't use their left like that. And I wasn't missing with mine. And so that's how it kind of worked out for me.
That's crazy. So look, so some pain ended up benefiting you.
Been a blessing.
That's a great story. So all right, so talk about the 7th and 8th grade experiences as far as winning games, playing in championships. Who was your hard opponent? How was that experience for you?
Oh man, back in those days, 7th, 8th grade. Again, that was my first time playing organized. So a lot of people didn't know I could play. I mean, people in the neighborhood did, but just, people in school, people around the city, they didn't really know I could play. Actually, my mom didn't know I could play.
Wow.
And I remember somebody telling her, hey, you need to come watch, Tim play. You can play. She came, and from then, she see me, and she never missed a game since. I mean,
That's
from
crazy.
the rest of my time playing high school, college, she never missed a game since.
Awesome.
And so, our biggest rivalries back then was, you had Bayou View, Central Middle, and I'll tell you who was on those teams. Bayou View had Eddie T, rest in peace, Eddie T.
Yeah.
Jason Easterman.
Ooh, J.E. Yeah, J.E. was an athlete, man.
Yeah, and Central Middle had Jamie Morgan. What's my
dog?
What's my
With Jamili Meeks.
Jamili
Meeks. Yeah.
I mean, they had guys, man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
did.
saying? And you can think Gulfport, everybody, those schools filter to Gulfport High.
Right.
You know what I mean? So those were our rivals back then. I mean, Biloxi, Michelle and Nichols, they had some good players, but I distinctly remember.
Oh yeah,
those
man.
Gulfport guys, man.
Yeah, North Gulfport always was a tough task when I went to Central. So
Okay.
North Gulfport and Bayou View was always tough games, man.
Yeah, man.
Definitely was tough games, man. So you had a good experience with them. Now you're done with 7th and 8th grade at North Gulfport. Back then, a lot of people don't realize it was Harrison Central 9th grade.
Right.
So how was it to transition from middle school to being a freshman in high school?
For me, it wasn't that hard because our 8th grade coach was our 9th grade coach too. Coach Strong, Larry Strong was the guy that probably doesn't get enough credit
For developing
right. A lot of the people who went on to be very successful at Harrison Central High School and beyond. And he just gave you discipline and structure, and made you realize that it wasn't all about you. I remember a story. I was in the 9th grade, and I don't know. I got into trouble. I did something. I was a good kid, but I did something in practice, and I was by the 9th grade. I was I ain't gonna say great, but I was good. I was good. I was a good player.
Right.
And man, he stopped practice and he made me run the entire practice. Just run the entire practice while everybody else is practicing. And so what that taught me was that the game's bigger than you.
Oh, yeah.
And so from there, it was okay. I got to make sure that my teammates, that I'm a good teammate to my teammates.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know what I did, but whatever it was, it warranted me, running for probably the next 45 minutes of practice, nonstop. And so that was a good lesson for me.
Oh yeah,
that was a good lesson for me. So
humble pie.
Yeah, humble pie. And so from there, it was uphill from there.
So basically, that's. But I think he was already humble. I think he was already humble at that point. But that just just stressed the point to you, like, look, no one's bigger than the game. And that's what my dad used to always tell me. Yeah. You realize you good, but you ain't that.
Of course.
You're not that good.
That was my moment. Yeah, that was my moment.
That's dope. Yeah, that's dope, man. I think a lot of kids need to hear this if they ever watching this. That the game, you can't cheat the game, and you're never bigger than the game. Yeah. That's one of the big things that I like to live by. So, did y'all get the opportunity to play 9th grade championship, or it was just can you remember?
We were the best team on the coast in the 9th grade.
Gotcha.
Until the district.
Yeah,
we lost the district championship, but we was undefeated. I mean, that was the only game we lost.
Oh yeah, man, that's crazy. That was the only game we lost.
But we had some players, man. We had, like I said, myself, Dewey, Maps was on the team.
Yeah.
Big Devin. I mean, we had players that could play.
Man.
And it was just we got to that. I don't know if it was feeling untouchable or arrogance or whatever it was when we got to that final, but I think we lost to Nichols or Michelle, the team that we had already beat probably 2 or 3 times. But
probably looked over me.
You young.
We beat them already.
You don't understand it. Yeah, you don't understand it.
Another learning
lesson. So
yeah, that's dope, man. So now your 9th grade career over. Now you're going to the big high. You're going to Harrison Central High School, man. A lot of doors are being opened, a lot of buzz created about you. Tell us about that first time you stepped on that court as a high school sophomore and you started that first game.
Yeah, transitioning into high school, now that was a different big deal because I think after our 9th grade season ended, Dewey and I were called up to play because they were trying to transition us to get us ready for high school.
Right.
And so they called us up to play JV for a game. And we went out there, and I think we was the leading scorers on the JV team,
right.
As 9th graders. And then we were supposed to move up to varsity. But this was late in the season, so it was a district tournament.
Right.
Well, Harrison Central played against Gulfport and lost in that first round of the district tournament, so we never got a chance to play varsity in that 9th grade. All right. Coaching change happened. All right. Coach Webb was the coach when we were coming in. Once we got there, they got a new coach coming in, Ricky Stone. Nobody knows him.
Right.
From Stone County, had coached a little bit at Mississippi State. Nobody knew, so everything was wide open. Obviously we were the young guys coming in, but it was open for everybody. Anything could happen. So when I got there and got the tryouts, it was like, okay, I got to start from ground zero, prove myself, and everybody did. And so it was so many guys, man, that was there before me, older than me, that I respected, that I never would have thought in a million years that I would be the one who earned that starting position. And I say this because Brian Anderson was there, C.J. McBride, Eddie Parrish, Chris Lane, Willie R. I mean, it was just guys that I had the ultimate respect for because they were a year ahead of me, 2 years ahead of me, and I watched them play coming up. And so when I got there in the 10th grade, when we got there, it was, okay, I know I can play with them because we play together all the time. We're at the GRC, we're in the hood, we're doing, doing our thing. But I'm 15 years old.
Right.
You're not about to put me out there with the likes of Seneca Taylors and the Ronald Dupree's and all these, great players. But it was something about Coach Stone, man. He was ahead of his time. He believed in developing the younger cat. He saw the potential in myself and Dewey and all those young guys, and he said, okay, well, I'm gonna let them play through their mistakes. And by the time they get to their senior year, hopefully,
right?
Hopefully, because you don't know. Hopefully,
that's one thing about coaching.
Yeah, right. They'll be what I expect them to be.
Right.
And it just kind of worked out. So my sophomore year I was in shock. I mean, I'm starting my first game. I don't know who we played against, but I'm like, what? I'm kind of timid, but I know I can play. I can hold my own. And then once I got there and I got out there and got comfortable, then it was,
It was that. Did you ever have that? I mean, my first game, I started in 10th grade. It was like that quicksand feeling, like you're stuck butterflies, and like you feel like you can't move. It's like, man, something got to happen to just loosen me up.
Yeah, for me it was the expectation, because coming in, you know, you had the expectations, and now you're there, you're in the moment, and it's like, okay, well, you can't mess it up. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude believe in you, and he don't even know you. He just got here, and he's going out on a whim to, right? You know, these my guys, right? You know, and so it's like, okay, I got to go out there and I got to perform, right? And I got to perform at a high level, and so. You know, I don't know what happened once I don't know, probably scored or, you know, got a defensive play or something like that. You know, I kind of relaxed and, you know,
playing
basketball then,
yeah. So, you played in the golden era, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. You played in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. Tell me that experience when you played in B. Frank Brown against Gulfport, and vice versa when Gulfport would come to you guys. I just got to know, because I got to experience a little bit on the back end. But it was nothing like the 90s.
90s basketball was definitely the golden era of basketball. I mean, so much talent. You know, so many guys that could play, and just neighborhood guys, but you know, guys that went to college and everything as well. I think the first time we played against Gulfport High my sophomore year was it was at Harrison Central actually. Mm-hmm. And you know, obviously you hear the stories, you hear about Seneca, you hear about Leroy and Andre Simpson, and you know, all these different guys that they had on their team, and it was an incredible thing to be a part of, because if you know the atmosphere of a Gulfport High, a real Harrison Central Gulfport High game is, you know, it's like a Duke North Carolina game, basically. You know what I'm saying? It's like a Duke, you know what I'm saying? So you get there and you're on the court and you kind of, and I'm looking and I'm one of the guys that I played the two, so I got to guard Seneca Taylor. You know what I'm saying? I got to guard Leroy. I got to guard these guys. Cream of the crop. You know, people don't give them enough respect.
Oh man.
Seneca Taylor in 98, 97, 98 was the cream of the crop. Basketball player, football player, track.
He averaged 30 his senior.
He was the top guy at all the levels. Now, people will say, okay, well, he was a football player because he went to school for football. But you don't average 30 in basketball and not be the guy. You know what I'm saying? So he was the guy by far. We had Roger James, Stone County, another animal that, you know, doesn't get a lot of attention. Right. Bender was a junior. I mean, he was probably averaging, you know, 27, 30. Dupree, I mean,
it was a lot of dogs it was dogs across the board. The coast
was crazy.
It was dogs.
I mean, Leroy Hurd was a monster at Moss Point.
Yeah.
You know, Pascagoula had guys. I mean, everybody. But we were all young guys. You know, we were, you know, me and Dewey, we were young, the young kids coming up, and you know, we just wanted to go out and help hold on. Yeah. And then that first time playing at B. Frank was, you know, I tell people all the time, man, that B. Frank's like playing in Madison Square. It's like playing in Madison Square Garden. It's just the atmosphere, you know, the fans right there on the court. I mean, right. the noise, just everything. You make a great play. I mean, you could shut the entire gym down. It's like Madison Square Rucker Park. I don't know what you know. It's all in one. All in one. You know, like, you know, playing in B. Frank is great atmosphere. You know, you're always gonna get those battles with Gulfport High. You know, especially as a Harrison Central team. Yeah. But it was just a great environment.
Man, like the Holiday Classic, my favorite moment was I played Stanislaus, man. And Dewey, he went baseline. The guy that he dunked on was actually a great football player for LSU, Stephen Peterman. He tried to take a charge, and Dewey leaned.
Was that him?
Yes, that was Peterman.
Look, I remember.
That was Peterman.
I'll tell you what I remember. And I don't know if it was the same Holiday Classic, but I remember Dewey doing that too. And
he might have did multiple times.
It was against Gulfport High.
Ooh.
And it was Jock Cox. That's my guy. No,
hey, Jock. Shout out my boy Jock.
Shout out, you my guy. But we laughed and joked about this before. We caught him. Yeah. And everybody right on the court, they kind of shut the gym down.
Yeah,
you know
that just was the culture.
Yeah, but that was the culture of you know that gym. You know, in Harrison Central. You know, you kind of off the court at Harrison Central behind the bars or whatever. Yeah. But B. Frank, man, that was a legendary gym. Honestly, when they tore it down, I was devastated. I was like, man, that's part of the Gulfport, you know what I mean? Like the city, that's part of the city's history. So
yeah, man, it kind of hurt me. Even though Katrina came up, Katrina probably would have ruined it.
Yeah,
but still, man, it's just that moment, those moments you had. Even when the Holiday Classic 1 year '98, I think it was your junior year. Slidell came to Bright. He put on a show.
Oh my goodness.
He put on a show.
Shout out to Towards Bright.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
I post sometimes on Facebook, and I've posted this probably 2 or 3 times in the last 3 years, 4 years. Mm-hmm. I've never, and I wasn't around when Mock Blue was playing, so I don't know.
Right.
I've never seen anybody put on a show like Towards Bright did in the Holiday Classic.
Yeah,
in '98.
I was 12, 13 years old.
I've never seen anybody. I mean, the way he dominated the games, I don't know what he probably averaged 50 for the 3 games.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was putting on.
But he was points, he was assists, he was rebounds, he was everything. And I was a junior, he was a senior. Looking at that just made me realize, I mean, you got a lot more work to do. Because this dude is good. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I said again, I'm a competitor. You know, I compete against anybody, but I always evaluate myself when I see or play against guys that are maybe a notch above me. You know what I mean? I went to different AAU things and different things like that, and I seen guys, okay, let me go back to the drawing board. You know?
Oh yeah, like you put your pride aside.
Yeah.
And it was a cat that I went to college with, a cat named Larry Warner, one of my good friends, man. He was faster than me, and I was like, man, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I just like, what are you doing extra?
Right.
So you put your pride aside and make yourself better. So that's a good point. Yeah. So after that, you see that was '98 your junior year. You're going to your senior year. This is a big year for you guys. Yeah. You and Dewey, y'all the dynamic duo. Y'all, favor to finish strong in your senior year.
Yeah.
How did that off season go for you?
It was incredible, to be honest with you, because my sophomore year, going into my junior year, I didn't really play AAU a lot, to be honest with you. And it was just all school ball stuff, people, colleges, I'm getting recruited, but it was more just like word of mouth, hearsay, local schools. I mean, you had Southeastern Louisiana, Southern Mids, different things like places like that, USA. And then I going into our senior year, went to September, went to AAU Nationals in Orlando, Bob Gibbons. I went to something in Los Angeles, Pumping Around or something like that for a week, playing against Tyson Challenger, Sean Stevenson, guys like that. So I was getting an opportunity to play against the top guys.
Right.
And I was able to hold my own.
Good.
And so from there, I mean, my recruitment skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And again, the expectations were very high because we had been there. Sophomore was good, junior year was good. Mm-hmm. Now, all of the guys are gone. Senator's gone, Dupree's gone. Guys in Jackson, they're gone. Provine guys are gone.
Yeah.
So when we came back, they put the Dandy Dozen list out, and both of us made the Dandy Dozen list.
You and
yeah, me and Dewey, but both Dandy Dozen. Yeah, and we were preseason #1 in the state. Yeah. So again, the expectations was high, but I remember losing in the state. I don't know what it was, first round of South State, first round of state tournament, whatever. I don't know what it was my sophomore year. I remember it like it was yesterday. Dewey and I sitting on the back of the bus and saying, when we seniors, we're going to win the state championship. I don't know why we skipped our junior year. I have no idea to this day why we skipped our junior year. But I remember both of us saying, man, we seniors, we're going to win it. Probably because we was young, and we respected everybody above us. So we didn't want to, okay, we're going to be juniors next year. No, we got Eddie Parrish here, we got Villiard here, we got these guys that are, above us. So we don't want to step on no toes. Right. That's just the way we did it.
It was different.
And so when we got to our senior year, the expectations was there, and man, we put in work. I mean, we had younger guys. We had Red and Orlando, and what I'm saying. We had to bring those guys along because those guys had never played varsity. They weren't even on varsity my junior year. So it was their first year of my senior year, but we just brought them along from the preseason. It was work, conditioning, work, practice, work. This is how things gonna be done. When we started off, where did we start off? I think we won our first 5. Biloxi beat us on a buzzer beater. Shea Chris hit a backboard buzzer beater or something like that. And then we ran off
20-something games.
Yeah, something in a row or something like that. And I mean, that was it. So, I mean, it was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing going to state.
Y'all definitely had a magical season. I think y'all only lost like 3 games or something like that. I remember recording the game when y'all played Mo Williams in the state championship, Murrah. And funny story, I know you remember what we was at. So we was at a like a little party, and I said, man, they go Timmy, man, I'm finna holler at him.
Yeah.
My brother was like, man, that's Timmy about you. That's just what it is, because we just had you in there.
Right.
I say, Timmy, man, I recorded you playing the state championship game.
Yeah.
And I never forget that game. And then I'm saying to myself, he probably think I'm tripping. We had a party. This man come to me at a party talking about the state championship game. But yeah, that's just why I always held you as that like bar. Like, man,
you know,
that's just how you supposed to be.
I appreciate that. You know, the crazy thing is, man, I've always just looked at myself as me.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like, I talk to people all the time. I was talking to Prince last night at the wedding, and he was like, man, you don't understand how we held you as
it's high.
And I'm just like,
it's high, bro.
Like, man, we was wearing when you went to college, man, we was wearing your jerseys around here, man. Like it was a throwback. Yeah, like you know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I didn't understand it because I'm just like, man, I'm just because I'm Tim around the way.
Yeah, like, but you know, Tim, when you in it, bro, it's like everything is kind of moving fast.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But then after you retired, now you can slow down and see.
That's right.
And you be like, I didn't realize that.
I've kind of had a little bit of time since I retired to reflect on what I've done, but it's so much that you tend to forget a lot of it because you know you think of it. I mean, I played 16 years professional, 4 years of college, at high school, so that's almost 30 years of body of work. So I'm trying to go back and people telling me stories and okay, yeah, I remember that. You know, this happened. I was looking at some clippings yesterday at my mom's house of just, you know, stuff, and I was like, dang,
it's crazy.
This is crazy. You know what I mean? So you're right. You know, when you're going through it, you're living in the moment, and you know it's just going fast and fast, and you're just trying to continue to get better and get better. But you know, now it's time. So.
All right. So you win the state championship, Player of the Year, Mississippi Player of the Year. Let's talk about recruiting, man. Do you feel like you was recruited like you should have been because you're the top player in the state of Mississippi? And a lot of people get under recruited.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you was recruited like you were supposed to?
I think based on my talent, no. Based on, you know, what I could bring a team, I don't think so. But I did understand that I started the AAU circuit a little bit later than most people did. And you know, to my credit, I guess, once I got in, I mean, I skyrocketed into the top 100. Like I went from ranked nothing to, I think I finished, you know, like top 75 or something like that.
In the nation, not in the state.
No, the
that's
nation.
In the nation.
That's
huge.
You know what I'm saying? In a year's time, more or less.
Yeah.
And so, recruitment was there. You know, I had a ton of schools. I mean, I had a whole lot of schools recruiting me and offering me. But a lot of them came in late. And so when they came in late, you know, I wasn't even trying to entertain them because I didn't know who to trust. You know, so I'm a young kid, I'm going through it. And I was loyal. I was loyal to the people that were recruiting me. You know, I was actually going to go to San Diego State. And the reason being was, I don't know if you know Steve Fisher. Steve Fisher coached the Fast Five with Michigan. He had just got the job at San Diego State. So when I tell people, like, no, San Diego State is in my top 5, they were like, why? And I have to explain to them, like, no, this guy had the Fast Five. He know what he's doing.
He got the blueprint.
And your trajectory, if you're trying to, you know, go to the league or play professional, whatever, you know, okay, this guy can have a hand in that. But it was far. You know, it was too far. I took a visit out there. I loved it, but it was far.
It is.
And so I went to Alabama on my next visit, University of Alabama, with Mark Godfrey, and they sold me. Like they had me. I committed on my visit.
Wow.
Yeah, people don't know that I committed on my visit.
So was you? You're a year older than Mo Williams, right?
Okay.
So it would have been you and Mo if you.
So check it. They already knew Mo was coming. Mo had already committed his junior year, and so what they were saying was, y'all gonna be the backcourt. It's gonna be Mo. It's gonna be you.
Crazy.
And I was like, man, it's crazy. So
yeah.
And they had Resort Rock. I mean, they had talent over there already. They had Gerald Wallace. Was
I remember Gerald Wallace.
You know, he went to the league after 1 year. So they had talent. So I was like, okay, cool. I love the visit. I committed on my visit. Andy Katz calls me. Yeah, you committed. I see you committed to Alabama. Is it okay for me to run the story? Cool. You ran the story. Told everybody, right? I had a visit with Mississippi State the next weekend. A counselor. I ain't going. You know, so I'm bugging. I ain't going. I'm going to Bama, baby. I'm going to Bama. You know, roll tide. T-time. Look, so my mom, again, she no nonsense. Like, and she, you know, she the reason I am everything I am. She says, you gave the commitment that you're going to go on this visit. At the very least, go. Check it out. You don't have to go to school there, but you told me you was coming. Yeah. So go. Honor your commitment. Right. I ended up going. Well, because I stopped the visit, they supposed to fly down on the you know, the private jet or whatever and get you like on Friday or something. But because I canceled it, they weren't able to get, you know, somebody out at the football team or somebody was using the jet. They drove down Stansbury and Coach Kirby. They had to drive down. It was like Saturday morning, so my visit was cut short. They drove down, picked me and my mom, my little brother up, and drove us back to Starkville. All right, so I'm going. You're talking to me the whole time. I ain't trying to hear that. Right. I ain't trying to hear nothing. Right. You know, I'm committed. I'm Bama. They had my. It was in the '90s. Blue Chips, he got game was the basketball. Right. Right. Every visit I went on, it was like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I went to Bama, and they got my name on the Jumbotron. Yeah. They got my jersey with my name on it already. Nike. I got Air Max right here. You know, this all type of shoes. I'm like, oh man, this is it. You know what I'm saying? It's free. Yeah. So I go to Starkville. Just talking my head off. You know, so I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. The player of the year hadn't come out yet. It came out when I was in Starkville on my visit. So I wasn't the player of the year at that time. So I'm going up. Yeah. And I get up there. Derek Zimmerman, who's one of my best friends to this day, was my host. He's a year older than me. He was my host. He played point guard up there while I was there. And we clicked. I don't know whatever, we just clicked, man. We had the same demeanor. We had the same, you know what I mean? And long story short, player of the year comes out, I think, on that Sunday. I go back, I talk to my mom about it. I'm like, dang, I got the player of the year. What you think it'll be like me staying in the state and going to a state school? Because I always think about after. You know, I don't know if I'm gonna be a professional basketball player. I don't know what I'm gonna do after. But I know that if I go to this state school, I'm the player of the year. I'll meet some people, I'll rub some elbows with some people, and I'll be able to get me a job when I'm done. You know what I mean? And so that was big for me. So I said, okay, cool. I committed to them on my visit to Mississippi State. So now it's chaos going on. Yeah. Alabama calling my phone. I ain't answering. I ain't answering the phone. I'm young, man. I don't even have a phone.
You never went through this. This is something you never go through.
But they called my house phone. You ain't answering that. Nah, Tuscaloosa. No, not me.
Call ID.
Call ID. Yeah, call ID. Yeah. Tuscaloosa. No, me and answer that. We know who that is. And the Katz called me, man, what happened? I thought you was going up. You know, yeah, I had to change of heart. You know, and then the player of the year came out, and then that's when Mississippi State announced it. So it kind of went together. Player of the year, state school gets the player of the year, and it kind of, you know, created a headline. And so that was pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? As far as my recruiting process, those were the only 3 visits I took because I didn't, you know, like I said, I had Wake Forest, like Clemson, I had NC State.
Heavily recruited.
I had schools. I had Arizona State. I had a lot of schools, but even at the end, I think Louisville, you know, schools like that came in, but I wouldn't give them time of day.
Man, that's dope, man. So you commit to Mississippi State, man. How was it? Transition from high school, going to college. How was that?
Oh man, culture shock, wake up call. Because I've always worked hard, extremely hard. But I guess I didn't know what hard work was. You know, I got there. As soon as I graduated high school, I went to summer school. I graduated high school, and the next week I was in Starkville. Gotcha. You know, and we worked out. But at that time, you couldn't work out basketball wise, but we would work out with the strength and conditioning coach. And so I get there, and man, the weight program, it ate me alive. It ate me alive. I mean, it was days we go lift, and then we go afterwards. That we'll go to the gym, and they were like trying to play pickup. I couldn't even move. Like I would lay on it. They had this thing. I don't know if you ever been to Mississippi State. We got a Sanderson Center, and they got like bleachers over there or whatever, you know, where you can sit down there. I go over there and lay down, man. I'm just so drained and couldn't move. And they be laughing, you know. Up until they laughing, they be like,
"Yeah, they know what you're going through because they went through it."
Tim, you ain't playing?
I'm good.
I can't move, man. Like I can't move. You know what I'm saying? And so that was the summer. When the fall started, it was even worse because now you're adding in conditioning to it. And again, I'm a runner. I'm in shape. I ain't out of shape. I ain't big, overweight, or nothing like that. I'm a runner. But it was so intense and just so good.
Man.
Now, the basketball portion of it,
you can deal with that.
I could deal with that because at that time, I had skills that a lot of those guys didn't have. I could, handle, I could shoot, I was athletic, I could, you know what I'm saying, different things like that. But wake up call, man. Wake up call.
Oh man, yeah. I feel you on that, man. Cause the college days, when you add the weights and that conditioning, and then you still gotta train, man. It was
tough.
It'll make or break you.
It was tough.
I definitely fought through that, man. So freshman year, man. What arena was the loudest arena for you? Like when you played those 4 years at Mississippi State, what was just like, man, it's loud in here.
I mean, it changed based upon which year I said. So I go to my freshman year. I go from my freshman year. Okay, so when I was a freshman, you still had Nolan Richardson at Arkansas, so it was still 40 minutes of hell.
Gotcha.
And Arkansas seat 20,000. All right, Kentucky 20,000.
Yeah.
Tennessee 20. Florida 15, 20. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of these arenas was, oh man, crazy hostile environments. But on the flip side, it was hard to play in Starkville because it was, it's
everything like right there.
There you go. You know what I'm saying? And it's louder than it's. We seat I think 10 or 11,000, but when you pack it, it's crazy.
It feel like 20.
Yeah, it feel like 20. And a lot of teams, like you go to Kentucky, a lot of those fans are spectators. They just come in and watch the game. They went to Kentucky, they big Blue Nation.
Right.
Our fans was
really into it.
Like Dukes, the Dukies or whatever they call them. Yeah, they was like that. So, SEC was, at that time, it was the SEC, the ACC, and probably the Big 12.
Tough conferences.
The Big East. Top conferences in the nation for basketball.
You got opportunity to play in it, man. That's
Yeah.
like you from Gulfport. You got that opportunity, man. Like I just wish kids would kind of take advantage of, because they can touch you now. Like I wish kids would take advantage of like just reaching out to you. Cause it couldn't be me. Cause social media is like you more easy with more access. But as far as that, so after that, like I know. You had the rough arenas and all that, but let's go just to your freshman year. Like, how was that experience for you?
Freshman year was definitely a learning experience. Didn't really play a lot. Hindsight, I wish I would have redshirted because I felt like I wasted a year. Not to say that I couldn't play, because I think if I couldn't, or if I really wasn't ready, the coach would have redshirted me. But he didn't. So I think he saw something in me that, hey, maybe if I need him, I can throw him in. Somebody gets injured, something happens, I can throw him in there and he'll be ready because, again, skill-wise, I was ahead of a lot of those guys. All right. And so it was just a learning experience for me, just watching the guys, watching the older guys, watching what to do, what not to do, how to carry myself on the court. But also getting the time to just, get some extra work in because I wasn't playing as much. So I, before the games, I get a workout in. Right. After the games, I get a workout in. So that helped my development, and just really seeing what the SEC was all about. Now, when I get to the end of my year, of course, I'm frustrated because I felt like I came in and there was, I don't want to say promises, but things that was, it was told to me that I would have the opportunity to earn playing time, not necessarily start, but earn playing time.
Gotcha.
I felt like I had earned it. And I think my freshman year, I ended up averaging like 7 or 8 minutes a game. You know what I'm saying? So that's nothing.
Right.
Broken up into 40 minutes, 7 or 8 minutes. So I learned from it. But at the end of that season, I was thinking about transferring. Wow. I'm not going to sit here and act like I wasn't. Like now we're in transfer culture. Everybody's putting their name in the portal. Yeah, but at that time, for me, I was like, maybe I made the wrong decision, coming here. And so I was going to open my recruitment back up. But again, my mom stepped into the forefront.
This is where you stand. Committed you.
My mom, and she said, hey, you're not going nowhere. You signed the scholarship here, you're going to be here. What you got to do is you have to give the coach a reason to not put you on the court. And so I was like, makes sense. She said, you got to go to work. I know you've been working hard, but you got to go to work.
Get out the mud.
Get out the mud. And so I had been doing that my entire life, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't new to me, it wasn't foreign to me. So going into my sophomore year, I didn't leave the gym. I didn't leave it. I mean, I was in the gym every day. Gym rat. I remember we had this gym. Now they got the practice facility and stuff up there now. They put all type of money into it. But at that time, we had the hump, Sanderson Center, which was the rec center for the normal students. And then we had this other gym called Newell Grissom, which was what the volleyball team used to play the volleyball games in, but they had baskets in them too. So I remember we'd have conditioning over there or something like that. When we leave conditioning, me and Derek Zimmerman, we stick a can or a bottle in the door to hold it open because it'll lock it and close it. Yeah. We stick a bottle, and we'll come back at 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning and just work out. Yeah, it was crazy. Also that same summer, Marcus Bullard came back up there. Just to, we'd always go back and, mingle with the guys, when you're out of school, and he came up there. That was the best summer I had at Mississippi State. Gotcha. My development wise. And so going into my sophomore year, I was a totally different player. Now, again, coaches can't really have contact with you during the summer. So they didn't know. They just, asked me, who been in the gym? Who been in the gym? They didn't know. So going into my sophomore year, I was ready. I'm gonna show you. And now I'm gonna put the pressure on you instead of it being on me like, oh, is he a player? Now I'm gonna make sure that everybody knows Timmy Bowers can play. Right. Yeah, he's ready. You know what I mean? Right. So
yeah, man, that's dope, man. So you mentioned Bull came and helped you as far as like giving you pointers and
just mindset. Mindset. If anybody know Bull, they know Bull's a dog. Oh yeah, he's a dog. So mindset. It was. Oh man, it was crazy. Like
I definitely changed your career.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So sophomore year you changed. I'm pretty sure you get much more playing time. Now your junior year is coming. How is that going now? How is your mentality at that point?
Into my sophomore year, I go to my sophomore year first. So into my sophomore year, I go into the season again, not knowing what to expect because I got upperclassmen still. I got juniors, I got seniors ahead of me at that 2 spot. We have a inter-squad scrimmage. I guess you call them like what they do, Midnight Madness and and all that kind of stuff. We had an inter-squad scrimmage. Okay, first one it was open to the fans. So we had 5,000-6,000 people at the thing. All right. First game, I dropped like 37. All right. So they looking like, okay, Tim, he had a good game. We have another one 2 weeks later. So I already know what's going on. People thinking it's a fluke. They're thinking, oh yeah, well, nah, it was, they playing against each other. It don't matter. 39-40. Next. So at that point, now the fans, I'm giving the fans something to talk about.
Right.
And if you know how college go, alumni, they kind of run what's going on.
Most definitely.
All right. So if they talking about me, I don't need to talk about myself. I don't need to do nothing else. Right. That was Tim. Hey, no, Tim. Why he not playing? If he not playing, why he not playing?
Right.
So I put the pressure on the coach.
Oh yeah.
And so going to my sophomore year, that's how I got announced as the starting 2 guard.
Gotcha.
Okay. First game of the season started. I'm ready. I'm starting at the 2. I'm a sophomore. You know what I'm saying? I got 3 years to go. I'm about to eat.
Right.
First game of the season. Guys, I got a quick, game just started. I got a quick 4-6. Guy sets the screen on me, knees me in my knee on the side, sprain my MCL. First game of the season. What's going on? All this work I done put in.
What I'm doing wrong.
I'm out for 2 months.
Oh man.
No games, no prep, couldn't do nothing. All right. We go to, I'm rehabbing and didn't have to have surgery on it. It was sprained. Didn't have to have surgery. So I'm rehabbing. I'm working out. I get back. I got this big, the big ACL brace with the bars on it. I got to play. So I got to play with that on.
Yeah.
And I'm coming back slowly. I'm having some good games, but I'm working. So I'm playing. I'm practicing with the team, but I'm working too. I'm still in. Getting my stuff in. Get to Vegas. We go to play Vegas, a tournament in Vegas. I get my starting spot back. All right. Yes. I'm
back.
ecstatic. Yeah, I'm back. I worked hard for this. Play a couple of games starting. We had this JUCO transfer. He was actually from Poland, but he had transferred in from JUCO. He was coming off the bench, and he really wasn't playing well. And so Coach Stansbury brings me to the office and says, hey, what do you think about coming off the bench? What? Come off the bench? Man, I done earned this. Two times over.
Trying to hit it.
Yeah, 2 times over. I'm like, why you asking me that? He's like, well, this kid, he doesn't play well coming off the bench, which he wasn't, but that's not my fault.
Personal problem.
That's between you and him. You need to be asking him, hey, what you need to do more or whatever.
Yeah, that's personal.
And so he was like, well, if you come off the bench, you're still gonna play. You're gonna get your starter minutes, but I think he needs to go into the starting role. And we didn't even play the same position. He was a 4. Crazy. Yeah, he was a 4. So we want to implement him into the starting role, bring you off the bench. And I said, look, this is exactly what I told him. I said, look, I don't agree with that. I said, but this your team. You do what you want to do. It's your team. It's not, hey, do what you want to do. And so from there, he started bringing me off the bench. And I was the 6th man. And I had a good season. I had a good season my sophomore year. I think I averaged like 11, 12 points off the bench. But I just think opportunity, you know how it goes. Starting is different. Starting is different. You know what I'm saying? The eyes on you, it makes it's different. You know what I mean? So my sophomore year, we had a great season. We set the record for wins. We won 27 games. Went to the tournament. I think we lost to University of Texas with TJ Ford I think it was second round of the tournament. I was all tournament, all whatever regional up there. So it was cool, but like I said, it just was. I didn't think I got a fair shot, at that time. So.
As far as your sophomore year.
Yeah, as far as my sophomore year.
So that means your junior year, you come back with a chip on your shoulder, probably.
Definitely.
So you working hard. I definitely know you made you turn it up in the gym and the conditioning and the lifting and weights.
Yeah.
So your junior year come, you probably all SEC at this point.
Yeah. Preseason. I was preseason all SEC.
Gotcha.
And so my junior year, I was ready. It wasn't, it wasn't no question. It was like, okay, this the guy. I don't care who coming in, because I was gonna set the precedent of, okay, if you come in, college they're gonna recruit over you. That's just the nature of the game. You're a freshman, you're a sophomore. They looking at somebody at your spot. That's just how it goes. You know what I mean? Because they don't know if you're gonna pan out or not. Right. My junior year, I knew what it was. You can bring whoever you want to come in here. They got to go through me. They got to see me. They got to see me. And at that point, it became, we're gonna play one-on-one when you get here. So I'm gonna let you know first.
I'm the guy.
So you won't even feel no type of way when you're not getting the playing time that you're supposed to get. All right. And so that's what I did. And my junior year, I ended up starting. We ended up having a great season. I was all SEC.
Yeah.
And then, but all of these years, I'm playing the 2. My junior year, I backed up at the 1 a little bit. All right. And then, we transitioned to my senior year. My senior year, expectations were lowered for us because we lost a lot of guys. We lost 4 starters, 3 starters. I think I was the only returning starter that was coming back.
Gotcha.
Zimmerman got drafted. Austin got drafted. This other kid, he, free agent. So it was
lost a lot.
Lost a lot.
Yeah.
Lost a lot. And this is before Lawrence got there.
Okay.
So coming back, I'm like, all right, it's your time. Like, it's your team. I'm working out triple time now. I'm working out triple time. Like, my teammates used to think I was crazy because we would lift weights, and I would lift weights after. Like, it was that crazy. We would do conditioning, and I would do conditioning after. Like, I was, you know, because my senior year, I didn't really have classes. I had already finished, so I was doing internship and you know, just to stay eligible.
Right.
So I had a lot of time on my hands. Get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, go get on Stairmaster, you know, treadmill, whatever, go to practice, you know. And the expectations were lower, so I knew that I had to at least make us competitive. You know, we had guys, we had Ontario Harper, we had guys, but they didn't have the experience that I had playing.
Right.
I had been playing since I was a sophomore. So going into the year, I get an invite to USA basketball in Colorado. To play for the under I don't know what it could be under 21 or 21 under team or something like that. I turned it down at first. Why did I turn it down? I knew the politics of it. I knew everything about how things worked at this point. Politics of basketball. So I turned it down because I'm like, nah, I need to be here with my team. I'm the leader, I'm the captain. I had been the captain. I was captain my junior year too, me and Z. So I'm the captain. I need to be here with my team to make sure they do what they're supposed to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Coaches come in, they have a meeting with me. They're like, nah, Tim, you need to go. You need to go to this meeting. I mean, you need to go to this trial because this can be big for you. You know, big for the school, big for you. All right, cool, I'll go. All right, I go up there. Everybody who's somebody there, basketball-wise.
Right.
I mean, these was the top
tier
players. I got a picture somewhere in my mom's house, and it's everybody on this list, on this picture, touched the league at some point, probably except for me, probably like 3 guys, me too. Yeah, 2 or 3 guys. I mean, it's Okafor, Josh Chitt. I mean, it's just players on this list. You know what I'm saying? From that time, Ben Gordon, D. Brown, Darren Williams, like all these players was at this thing, right? So I go to the trial, and I notice that all the players, they coaches are there. Like they you know what I'm saying? Like either their assistant coach or their head coach, somebody's there to represent them. You kind of rub elbows with the people because it's politics. Hey, whoever's over it, I think it was Jim Boeheim was coaching it. Izzo might have been coaching. You know what I'm saying? But you're gonna go and you're gonna mingle with those guys, tell them about your guy.
Right.
Look, man, my guy, no, he can do this, he can do that. Nobody from Mississippi State was there.
Oh man.
Nobody showed up for me. You know what I'm saying? So I go up there, I have a good showing, but again, it's a numbers game. It's only a certain amount of guys that can make the team.
Right.
But I meet Lawrence there. We're on the same team. Now I didn't know him.
Yeah.
And this is before, you know, the reason they let them.
At Baylor.
The shooting happened at Baylor.
Right.
Okay, so this is before that. So I mean, we chop it up. He got ties to Mississippi. Robin Robinson's his aunt.
What?
That's his aunt.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's his aunt. His dad. I mean, his grandfather settled down here. He was a Tuskegee Airman.
Yeah.
And he settled in the Panties.
Yes.
So I meet him there, not thinking that I ever talked to him again. Nothing. This thing happened at Baylor. Stansbury called me like, look, we got a kid coming in from Baylor, you know, all this stuff happened. They let them transfer out and they can play immediately. And he was like, Lawrence Roberts. I was like, what? Lawrence Roberts? I was just on his team in Colorado.
Right.
Cool. Bring him down. I'm his host. So we kind of, you know,
right.
we Lawrence quiet. Lawrence real chill. He quiet. He, you know, I gained his trust though because he already knew me. And then once I told him, like, man, I'm from the coast. He was like, yeah, my aunt from the coast. Yeah, I know your aunt is. Fool. Like,
right.
Yeah, everybody know who your aunt is, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
everybody knew who Robin was.
You know what I'm saying? And so we just kind of clicked. And, you know, he came. And when he came, he changed expectations for, I mean, he brought so much publicity following that incident. It was crazy.
Media
like,
frenzy.
It wasn't even his basketball stuff.
Yeah.
It was that. I mean, it just ESPN, the magazines down there. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, he could play. You know what I mean? And so that changed everything for as far as us going to that season. It was like, okay, we got Lawrence Roberts, we got another big. We just lost Mario Austin, so we're gonna replace Mario with Lawrence. All right, now we got Bowers, you got nothing? Okay, boom.
Got a team.
And we started that season, man, and we just started rolling.
Caught fire,
We started rolling. I think we won our first 13 games, lost to Kentucky at the buzzer, which game we should have won. Lost to them, last second. Ball tipped somebody's hand, they pick it up, lay it in, it go out there, something crazy like that. Yeah, they won by 1. So, senior year was great. We got to, I think number 4 in the country.
Yeah.
I think we got to number 4 or 5 in the country.
I remember.
Yeah, it was rocking. We had it rocking the whole state.
Yeah, man. So senior year was huge. You got to go deep in the SEC. I think y'all won. Did y'all win the tournament that year? Or
We won the overall SEC. Won the league.
The league. Y'all won the league that year. So man, with that it comes publicity. So let's go to your opportunity for professional.
Yeah.
All right. What teams are you talking to as far as NBA or even overseas at this point?
The way that works is you really not in contact with a lot of the teams. You get an agent kind of talk for you, and they do the work for you. Hindsight, I probably would have entered the draft my junior year, but I wasn't even thinking about it. Like it wasn't because it's just, man, you're from here. We just got a different mentality. You know what I'm saying? I ain't thinking about no league, man. I'm happy that I'm, you know what I'm saying? But when I look back at it, I'm looking at my stat. My junior year, I was 15 points, 4 rebounds, 3 or 4 assists. Like my numbers were stellar. 43% from 3-pointer, 49% from the field. Like my numbers were stellar. But I didn't have that person, hey man, you need to try it. Just put your name in. If you don't want to go, come back. But when you put your name in, that gives you publicity.
Yeah.
So even if you don't go, they know who you are now. So they looking at you like, oh, he entered for some reason.
Right.
Let me see. Let me watch him his senior year. Let me put the magnifying glass on.
Right.
I didn't do it.
And see, that's the thing that bothers me about like people giving you the information. Like you can enter your name in the draft in NBA or NFL, but don't hire an agent, so that still makes you eligible for the NCAA.
Right.
You don't hurt your eligibility.
Right.
Like you didn't have a clue about that, did you? That kind of stuff like that.
I didn't know.
That bothers me.
That's
crazy.
And so, I heard talk. Like my assistant coaches, they would tell me, such and such like you. They come to practice. We had constant practice all the time from the time I was a freshman. Such and such like you, this team like you, they called asking about you, this and that. So after my senior year, it was just a process of going through it. Okay, let's see what I need to do. Okay, you get an invitation to Portsmouth, which is the senior camp for the top seniors. Okay, do you want to go to that? Okay, yeah, I want to go because I want to be exposed as much as I can. Because I feel like at the time I felt like I was under the radar because my senior year I played the point. All the other years I played the 2. So everybody was trying to question whether I could play the point.
Right.
Well, I'm playing the point on the number 4 team in the nation, so of course I can play the point, but I'm still scoring.
Right.
I'm still getting my points. My assists are up. My assist turnover ratio is good. I'm showing you I can run the team.
Right.
But I can get buckets too.
Oh yeah.
So I go to Portsmouth, play very well at that. I get an invite to Chicago pre-draft camp. Okay, Chicago pre-draft camp is like where everybody goes to get tested.
It's a combine.
Yeah, it's a combine. I go there, I test off the charts. My vertical still on the thing to this day. 43 and a half. I think it was Nate Robinson. It was Tony Allen first, Nate Robinson, then me at the combine. Because it was the ranking, they ranked you at the combine. So I go to Chicago combine and, I test very well at the combine. And I'm playing strictly point, just to try to show people that I can play the point. But the way I'm playing it is, I'm playing it like I think they want me to play it, which was a mistake on my part. Right. Because I'm not being myself. Naturally I was a scorer. I've always been a scorer. But I could play like a point because I understood how to play. I could pass. I could, do different things with the ball. So I get there and they used to have this head of scouting. His name was Marty Blake. He was the NBA head of scouting, right? So he wrote an article on me. I got it somewhere at my mom's house, I'm sure. And it was, if anybody questioned Timmy Bowers playing the point guard position, he's proved at this camp he can play. Not only can he play it, but he plays it very well.
Right.
So I'm like, okay.
That should get.
If he giving me this is the head scout of the league. He's passed away now, but I'm good. I'm in there. That's what I'm doing. I'm in there, man. I'm good. Go to after the camp, you know, I started doing workouts. You do team workouts, individuals. You fly to here, there, whatever. I worked out for, you know, a ton of teams. So after that, it's a waiting game. It's a number. Because you never know what's going on. You got international players coming in. At the time I came out, high school players were still, you know, going into the league. And so it's a waiting game. I sit on the phone, you know, talk to my agent. My agent's a brother out of Memphis, you know, probably who I should have been with, you know, hindsight, because
he wasn't working for you.
There you go. I needed somebody who was going to talk for me. And I thought he was going to be there because he wasn't as big as the big agencies that was coming after me. But my mindset was, hey, I got the small city mentality. I need somebody that's gonna care about me. I don't want somebody that's gonna put me on the back burner. So I thought the big agencies would, we'll get him somewhere. You know, we'll get him overseas.
Right.
No, I want this guy that's hungry, like me.
Right.
And he gonna talk for me because he know if I go, he go. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't work out like that. So it was a waiting game. Draft night came, and
did you watch it? Was you watching it?
Yeah, I watched it because I expected to get drafted.
Gotcha.
Because I was, if you looked at the top 10 front guards in the country, I was in there 6, 7, top, you know, somewhere in there.
Right.
All right, and so you know when you watching the draft, guys always slip. They slip, you know, here or there, you know, whatever. And we had a lot of guards coming out, a lot of point guards coming out that year. I think Jameer Nelson was that year. I think Duhon. Sean Davidson was a point. Ben Gordon was coming out as a point. Telfair. I mean, there was a lot of point guards coming out. But again, in comparison to me, I don't think they brought to the table what I did. Because you talk about potential, right? And I don't like using the word potential, but if you talk about potential, if you want to use it, you could have used it with me because I had only been playing the point for 1 year.
Yeah.
So I thought my potential was through the roof at that position. Whereas the other guys, they've been doing it, so you see what you're gonna get.
Right.
You know that. I mean, they've kind of hit the ceiling with it. They know the position. Well, I can learn it. Plus, I can play the two. Mm-hmm. Plus, I'm bigger than them, I'm stronger than them, I'm more athletic. You know what I mean? So they go to the first round. Obviously, you know, I wasn't thinking that was gonna be a first round. Second round come, they picking players, and then probably by the time they get to number 40 or something like that, probably like number 40. I don't know if you watched the NBA draft with Jay Billis. On the side, he has Billis top pick.
Best
available, or something like that. Probably from 40. I was number 1 on his board.
That's crazy.
I was sitting there. I'm sorry, okay.
I'm
drafted somewhere up in here. You know what I mean? I go through the numbers. What's going on? So after the draft, my agent called me. And you know, I'm pissed, so I just go outside. You know what I'm saying? I just walk outside. You know what I'm saying? Clear my head. I think I walk around. Probably walk around turnkey. Something just to clear my head. And you know, I came back and just called me. And they're trying to basically tell me it's cool because after the draft, he's getting all these calls, team for me to come to summer league. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still trying to process what just happened. You know, so I ended up going to. Lakers. I ended up, you know, choosing the Lakers. Why did I choose the Lakers? Lakers was my favorite team.
Of course.
Kobe was my favorite player.
Right.
So I'm like, ooh. And at the time, Kobe, this is the year Shaq left. Lamar Odom came in. So this is when they broke the team up. They just lost to the Pistons.
Right.
Okay. 04. They just lost to the Pistons. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go out here with Kobe. My mindset was, man, I hope Kobe out here because I'm gonna work out with him. I heard about his workouts. I work out like that.
Yeah.
If I can get with him, he gonna vouch for me, and I'm gonna be on the Lakers team. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I go out to summer league with that. When I get out there, they got Rudy T just getting the coaching job there because Phil Jackson left. Like I said, they busted the whole team up. So we in the thing, and I think Luke Walton was there. It was a couple guys that was already on the team. Luke Walton, Kareem Rush, Brian Cook, they was already on the team. So they played summer league that year. They drafted Sasha Vujacic. They were trying to bring him in as a point guard. Shout out to Sasha Vucic. We get there, and it was just, man, it was so many people. And that's how I kind of learned about the league and the numbers. Yeah, man, it was summer league team. It was like 18 people on the summer league team. And I'm like, what the heck? How y'all evaluating all us? You know what I'm saying? So, first game, we played, who was my coach? Brian Shaw. He was the coach. He didn't play me. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't play me. So I called my head. I'm like, man, what's going on? Like, I didn't even touch the court.
Right.
Come to the locker room. He like, yeah, I know some of you guys didn't play. Next game we're gonna play. All right, cool. Next game he started. All right, cool. First play of the game. Lie to you not. First play of the game. Some of our partners remember because they used to watch the game on, I don't know if it was NBA
they
TV.
used to stream the game.
Yeah, right.
They streamed it.
So, first play of the game, man. They hit me on the wing. I kid it. I go baseline. Boom. 7-foot dude. Canned him. Bing. Yeah. Canned him. Everybody went crazy. Like, oh man, we ain't know you. So it was just I had some good games there. I had games where I had 17 points when I played, but then I had games where I had 5 because I didn't play because I was, my playing time was up and down, and so I didn't end up making a team. I was about to go overseas that year. Everybody in the States was telling me, "You close to the league, man. Don't go overseas. You close. Like you right there." The G League, D League, now D League then. The president called me on the phone. Man, look, we want you to come to the D League. You close. You don't need to go overseas. I talked to Melvin Booker, Devin Daddy. He was already overseas. He was like, dude, you need to come overseas. Like, they need guards like you over here. They're looking for guards like you. So I was kind of, in a tug of war, like what I'm gonna do. So I decided, okay, I want to play in the NBA. So I'm gonna go to the D League. Went there, I got drafted, put my name in the pool, got drafted. Went to Asheville, North Carolina, a team that had won the championship the year before. But a team that they broke that team up. Everybody was new. Got there with me. I was backing up Brandon Knight. Brandon Knight went to Pittsburgh. All right, point guard went to Pittsburgh. I was backing him up, right? So I'm playing good at the backup position. Tell you how God worked, B Knight gets called up to the Houston Rockets. All right, he gets called up. He comes back 10 days, comes back down. Goes up for a layup. Comes down, just lands. Didn't land on nobody's feet. Breaks his leg. Compound fracture. First time I ever seen him with the ankle twisted or whatever. The first time I said, oh my God, everybody was going crazy. I was like, what is this? He's done for the season. I think that was the end of his career, to be honest with you. I think I had to put a rod in it, and you know what I'm saying? So now I'm thrust into the starting role in the D League, point guard. But I'm still learning the position because I've only played it my senior year.
Gotcha.
So I'm playing it good. We go through the season, we up and down, then we get some consistency. All right, we go playoffs, ended up winning the finals. All right, winning the finals. I ended up, I think winning the finals and the MVP of the finals or something like that. I got double or something like that. All right. After the game, we get back to Carolina. My coach calls me in the office. He says, I had about 10 calls today from NBA teams. He said 8 of them was talking about you. So I'm like, oh, what?
Oh, yeah, here we go.
All right, here we go. So he said, Phoenix Suns, they love you. He said they love your pace, they love your athleticism, and your ability to shoot. So I'm like, cool. My agent had already been telling me Phoenix wanted me to come to Summer League. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna rock with him. All right. Now this is the time that, this is Phoenix. Nash still there. Audemars, yeah, they all still there.
Sean Marion.
Yeah, they all there. Joe Johnson. You know what I'm saying? They all there. So I commit to them for Summer League. Summer League don't start until like after the 4th of July or something around that time. So the Bandits had started the team down here on the coast. They called me, contacted me like, yeah, man, we want you to play, this and that and third. I was like, okay, I can go home and work out, or I can just play. So I said, cool, I'll come do it. Came back to the crib. First night I got home, to bar. You know, they did like an interview. They was blowing it up. You know, it was blowing up because I'm a coach kid. You know, like playing for the home team. All right, cool. Came here, played that. You know, that was, to me, it was easy basketball to me. You know what I'm saying? I ripped it just to get ready for summer league. So I go to summer league, Phoenix. We go to mini camp first in Phoenix. The actual summer league is in Vegas. We go to mini camp for 4 days. And my agent, what he had told me was that Barbosa, you remember Barbosa?
Yeah. Fast.
They was thinking about cutting him because he's only a year. I think he came out in 03. Mm-hmm. They didn't know. They ain't really like what he was doing. So they was gonna play him in summer league to see if, all right, we're gonna keep him or not. And he said, all you gotta do is beat him out. So I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it. I get there to the mini camp. It's me, him. I don't know if you know Lynn Greer, went to Temple, the lefty point guard. Good though, had already played in the league, played with the Bugs, played, you know what I'm saying? There was a couple more guys. I'm like, I don't mind competing,
right?
But give me a fresh shake. Yeah, I don't want to have to go out here against all these guys when you telling me this is the guy you need to knock off. Now I got to knock off this guy, because he's played in the league already.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I go to mini camp, play well. My focus was Barbosa. Barbosa couldn't do nothing.
Right.
Man, that crossover, pick them once. I get it, I'm going up the court. So when I picked him, you know, I'm going this way. He's coming like around. Like you're trying to time me, like you're trying to size me up. So I'm like, I'm dribbling like, all right, you know, all right. He jumped. Oh man, I put him in there so bad. I put him in there so bad. They went crazy. They actually called my agent and was like, man, we didn't know he was that athletic. We didn't know he was, you know.
Well, yeah, they must not be watching.
What you been looking at? What you been doing?
Right.
Yeah, what you been doing? So, summer league started. We fly out to Vegas. We go to Vegas. And, man, it was just a disaster. Like, he was getting all the playing time with all the balls. And that's how summer league is. They're gonna feature the draft picks and the players that are already on the team that they're trying to get. Because they're trying to take a look. They really ain't studying the rest of the cats that's there.
They just bodies.
Yeah, bodies. They bodies. You know what I'm saying? So he get out there and he played well. And from there, he became who he was in the league. Because at that time, he was just okay player. From then, it was the Brazilian blur or whatever they called him. He's fast. He could shoot then. Yeah. But when I see him, he wasn't like that. And so after that was 2005. I was in summer league. I started talking to overseas stuff. Katrina hit. And so when Katrina hit, it was, I got to make a decision now. I got, grown man decisions to make. I wasn't married at the time, but I was with, you know what I'm saying? I was with her, but we got separated and my mom's house got messed up. It was just a lot of chaos going on. Right. I actually I couldn't even fly out because I had signed my deal overseas. Couldn't fly out because New Orleans airport messed up, Gulfport airport messed up. I had to drive to Memphis and leave out of Memphis. Wow. And that's how I ended up leaving, going overseas my first year.
Okay, well, so we talked about your NBA experience. You go overseas, you fly to Memphis after Katrina. Man, talk about that most important year. You won MVP over there. A lot of people may not know you was an MVP, won a championship. That's just because it's a 16-year career.
Yeah.
We don't have time to talk about it.
That's right.
Let's talk about that big career year you had as a professional.
After Katrina and after the experiences that I had with the NBA, I went with a mindset of I'm not supposed to be overseas.
Gotcha.
And if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna win the MVP. I'm gonna go dominate. That's what I told her. I told my mom. I told my boys, like, look, man, I'm going overseas, but I'm about to go rip it. And so I get over there my first year. I went to Israel my first year, and man, it was a different experience. Culture shock, I guess you'd say. Mm-hmm. Because I'd never been out of the country before. Obviously never lived in another country. But the basketball was basketball. And so, I just took that mindset into it. Had a great season. It was a lot of tough moments in there because the team that I was on, they were bringing players in and out. We probably went through 15 different players. And we were losing. It was bad because we was losing. And then I had a meeting with the owner, president, and like, look, man, just stop changing. Let's just stick with who we got. We did it. Started winning games. I started scoring, I don't know, 30s, 40s, and end of the season, was awarded the MVP of the season, and actually had another sniff with the little NBA experience over there during that season as well. Washington Wizards scout was at one of my games. I think I had like 39 or something. Mm-hmm. And he comes up and he's like, man, we've been looking for a combo guard. And I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah. He said, I think I found him. And so I'm looking at him like, I'm looking around. This is after the game, I'm looking around like, who? Who that nice? Yeah. He was like, you. And I was like, me? I'm like, because I'm not even thinking about the league at this point. Right. And he's like, yeah, man, we got a spot. There's a guy there, but I think you can beat him out. And I was like, okay. But I know the politics of the game now, so I'm like, all right. So he's like, look, I want you to come to mini camp, and then you come to our summer league. And I'm already kind of.
You already been down that road.
I've been down that road, man. I ain't trying to just be nobody. So I had just got rid of my agent at the time. Okay. And so I was kind of talking deals myself, and I told him, I was like, look, y'all want me to come, then y'all can guarantee me some money or something. I know how the game works. I see y'all guaranteeing 30, 40, 50, 70, whatever. You know what I mean? Because if you invest that money in me, then you got to give me a fair shot. You ain't gonna invest it and just make me be another body, sit me on the bench. Right. And so he went back, and I guess he went to the whoever was in charge, and didn't come back with nothing. So I was fine with it. You know what I'm saying? After that, I signed a 3-year deal in Jerusalem, and went from there. And from Jerusalem went to Italy. And that was my career. I did 10 years in Italy, 4 years in Israel, a year in Greece, and that was it, my 16 years, man. So.
Stellar career, man. Hopefully, they will recognize and give you a Hall of Fame over there in that. So
I mean,
have you heard anything, or is it a guideline? You got to be retired so long?
It's not. I mean, every country's different. Gotcha. But I get a lot of love from fans and management, teams that I've played with, because I've always been extremely professional. Gotcha. Every team that I've touched. So. Nothing but good memories. If they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. The same way that I say about the Mississippi State stuff, about the Gulfport stuff. It's not up to me. I feel like what I've done is done. I've done my work. You've seen it. My body of work is what it is. If it's good enough, fine. If it's not, fine. I live with it. Because I feel like, at this point, I'm at a bigger calling. I got a bigger calling for my life. I don't want anybody to honestly judge me on what I did basketball-wise. I want at the end of the day, when I'm done and I'm gone, the people to forget that I even played basketball. That I inspired, kids to do great things beyond just playing basketball. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I look at it now.
That's awesome, man. Because you just answered my question. What would you want to be remembered as? And you just didn't really answer it, man. Yeah. I'm definitely you more than. I like that more than an athlete.
Yeah.
You really are. You just inspire people different ways, and I definitely know that, man. So, man, I want you to give, before we wrap it up, man, I want you to give some of the youth around our area, South Mississippi, man, all over the world, give them some words of encouragement and advice that if they in high school right now, getting ready to try to go to college.
I think the first thing would be to, obviously, put God first. Whoever, whatever God you serve, put Him first. Set your goals as high as you can. And that way, you even if you fall short, you're gonna attain some sort of success. Create a plan and a visual. Go to work at it. Go to work. Be relentless about your work. And then, the last thing I would say is just to stay humble with it. You know what I'm saying? Stay humble. Don't ever let your success or your, whatever, get to your mind, get to your head. You know what I'm saying? Because when you do that, your trajectory starts to go the other way. And then, just like I said, man, just you can do anything. You can do anything you want. I was that kid. I've been that kid here in Gulfport, trying to find my way, which is one of the reasons that, I always try to come back and do things in the community, is because I know you need something tangible. You need somebody that you can touch. I didn't have that. I was, everybody knows we revere Mahmoud and, for who he is and what he's done in the community and what he's done basketball-wise. But me coming from the neighborhood I came from, I didn't have access to him. No. So I just heard it was like a ghost, you know, like a
you had to
urban
catch,
legend.
You had to really catch him at moves.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, especially during the time that I was coming, he was in the NBA,
Right.
so he wasn't really, you know, down and available. So to me, it was more of an urban legend, and I don't want to be that, you know. So when I was playing, and I would always make sure, okay, look, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be there. Here's my number. You give your mama my number. She can call me. You need some school, something to talk about school. You're going through something at home. I'm available for all, because I look at it as it's more than basketball.
It is.
It's more than that, because everybody's not going to play basketball. Just the reality of it. You know,
Right.
It's 1% of guys that, you know, go to college, and then even smaller than that go to the professional rank. So we got to figure out what's good for you. But while we're doing that, we got to keep your head on your shoulders. We got to make sure that you got different mentors and great mentors in your life in order for you to sustain that and be successful. So,
man, most definitely, man. I sure appreciate that, man. One more thing, man. Let them know your social media, if you got Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, and then let them know about your basketball training business as well.
My Facebook is Timmy Bowers. You know, you can find me on there. Most people down here are already probably friends with me on Facebook. My Instagram is at MSFinest15, and I don't think I really do Twitter, but I think my Twitter feed will be the same thing, at MSFinest15. My business, you know, is the Bowers Basketball Group. I established it probably, it was in the making probably for the last 10 years, because I was always doing things under, you know, whether it was throwing camps and stuff like that. It was, you know, I was doing community work, free camps and free workouts and stuff like that. But now, since I've retired, I've kind of, you know, structured it into an actual business. And basically what it is kind of like what I said, you know, it starts on the court with the basketball stuff, but I mentor. I got different people that I work with that, you know, that are mentors, that are pillars in the community, whether they be athletes or not. You know, everybody has a story to tell. You know, everybody has something that's going on. So you come to one of my camps and you might see a former basketball player speaking at the camp. You might see a doctor speaking at the camp. You might see a judge speaking at the camp. You might see somebody that's been incarcerated that's come out. They can tell you their story, because all of that matters, especially in our community, because that's that's what we see every day. You know, we see these things every day. Kids are getting in trouble. Kids are, you know, doing different things. So if you can kind of give them that guidance and the blueprint and a cheat code to help them skip that step in their life, then why not? And so that's, you know, basically what I do now since I retired, man. Just kind of run that.
Man, we sure appreciate you, man, for coming, Street Geeks. Appreciate you, SMACM World. Appreciate you, man. I'm gonna put some pressure on Harrison Central High School. Nobody need to wear number 15 again. Like I said, it was only 7 Mississippi Player of the Years from the coast, just the coast alone. 3 came from Harrison Central High with the Groove, you, and Byron Sanders. That number needs to get in the Raptors, man.
I mean, it's a
and
lot
23,
of
23, the Groove.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
There's a lot of numbers. Obviously, the Groove. And
Right.
Again, this is probably me maybe being too
Being
humble.
biased. Yeah.
Maybe being too humble. I don't know,
Yeah.
but Tiffany Travis,
in
my opinion,
most definitely know
jersey
that
should
number.
have been retired a long time ago.
WNBA.
There's no, you know, April Brown jersey
Right.
should have been retired a long time ago. Michael the Group, you know what I'm saying? The list goes on and
Harrison
on.
Central girls, period. They like the UConn of basketball.
That's it. Nobody in the state has won more championships than Harrison Central High School girls.
So those 2 numbers different.
So those numbers definitely. I mean, you know, you can argue myself and the group, whoever, but
Yeah.
these women went to every level they've done it on the highest level.
Yes.
High school, college, LSU, and Florida, and to get to the WNBA. When the
Need that jersey.
WNBA was up and coming, trying to be established, you know, they were the pillars
They were the
in
first-
that. Yeah,
the
so
first
I
open
mean,
the doors for other-
you know,
other women
you know,
like
so
Candace Parker and all
yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah.
what, you know, needs to be pushed.
Definitely.
So, man,
I'm
yeah.
with you on that, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. So, man, look, that was a last of the interview, man. Tim, we appreciate you, man. We sign it off. We see you next time.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Chico, talking to the bad guy. Yeah, Chico. Yeah, Chico, you're talking to the bad guy. Toothpicking your eye. I'm that guy. Hey, yo. Look, something happened to these, something happened to you, okay?